to the America's board member, Energy Steering Program member as well, Andrew Vesey of AES Corporation. Andrew, good to have you again this
Well,
year.
Jeremy, good to be back.
So before we started taping, we were talking about the footprint of AES, and it's a huge footprint. But I want to ask about how the question of natural gas is affecting your footprint or your business here in the U.S., but obviously this is a Latin American Energy Conference, so let's talk about Latin America. So let's talk about the role of gas, and if you could sort of fill in with that answer, is gas a competitor or is it a supporter of renewable deployment in Latin America?
Well, it's a good question, and gas is a very, no pun intended, hot topic. I remember when I first started in this industry in 1978, we had something called the Power Plant and Industrial Use Act, Field Use Act, in which the United States government absolutely prohibited the use of natural gas for the production of electricity. Wow. Because it was a view that natural gas was almost unavailable, and it wouldn't be anymore. Right. Talking about a scarce resource, a very limited one. Now, with the discovery of significant gas through the shale gas fields, the worldview has changed. This has radically changed everybody's view. So when people talk about a revolution with natural gas, that's really what it is, and it's changing everybody's perspective. When we think about the availability of natural gas at reasonable prices globally, it changes the way we think about everything. And then it comes the question of, well, how does it impact your business? Well, it gives us more options. There's a lot more options for efficiency. And clearly, natural gas has a less of an impact on the environment as opposed to coal and other fossil fuels. However, the future probably looks much greener than a natural gas future per se. But I think one of the interesting things is what natural gas, its availability of relatively well-priced natural gas will do for us globally. It will give us a bridge to whatever that future is. The evolution or the implementation of a greener future in renewables isn't going to be self-evolving. It is going to take energy planning, the involvement of governments, the education of consumers, and there's a lot of public policy and regulatory policy that's going to have to be put in place to have the rational evolution of renewables and implementation and integration into the grid. I think the really brilliant thing about the natural gas bridging is it gives us time to do it right. So I think what's incumbent upon us, and if someone's saying, what's the biggest impact of this new view of natural gas, it's not so much that we'll have natural gas in the matrix, which I think in the near term will be very positive, but it will give us time to get it right. What will happen in that time when we have this bridge? Because when we say natural gas is a bridge, this isn't the bridge to nowhere. This is the bridge to somewhere.
Well, I hope it's the bridge to the 22nd century or something.
And it's going to be the bridge to essentially the new energy matrix, which will be, in my mind, dominated by clean sources, by renewables, whether that's photovoltaics, thermal, solar, wind, what have you. There is an evolution of technology that will take time so that it will not need intervention or subsidies from either from governments or from one consumer class to another. So we have time to get it right. We have made mistakes. When I say we, I'm talking generally. So there's a lot to learn. Right. I mean, we can look at Europe, we can look at experience in California, Arizona, Hawaii, what's happened where we've tried to bring policies which, whether it's been retail net metering or other subsidies. You look at Germany. There's a lot that we can learn. And I think the number one key within the scope of the Institute for the Americas is really to be a player to help bring that bridging the correct way. Let's go to school. Let's learn. Let's have regulators learn, governments learn, investment communities learn about the mistakes, and we have time now. We have time to get it right. This is not time we should squander. Right. Okay?
So perhaps, I mean, we've talked a lot about Mexico here today. So what I hear you is, I mean, this is what I think we're trying to see in Mexico, because